Hello and welcome to New Filmmakers Los Angeles in partnership with Movie Maker magazine. My name is Danny DeLillo. We're here at Sunset Gower Studios in Hollywood. I'm delighted to be joined with Paloma with her fantastic movie, Each Lovely Thing. Let's take another clip.
Do not stand at my grave and weep. I am not there. I do not sleep. I am in 1,000 winds that blow. I am the softly falling snow. I am in the flowers that bloom. I am in a quiet room. I am in the birds that sing. I am in each lovely thing. Do not stand at my grave and cry. I am not there. I do not die.
Paloma, I'm so happy to see you, and
I'm so happy to see you.
Congratulations, welcome to the New Filmmakers LA family.
Thank you.
And from the bottom of my heart, thank you for bringing your film to New Filmmakers. It was an incredible experience.
Thank you for saying that.
For those that haven't seen it, tell us a brief synopsis.
Well, this is one where I have a hard time giving a synopsis because there's a twist at the end,
Yes.
and I've struggled with my log line. But essentially, it's about two sisters who are having an argument while they set up for a party. You don't know what the party is, and you don't know what they're arguing about, but you know that it's very high stakes, and that they are on very opposing sides of this argument. Yeah, and I feel like sometimes that can feel like a little bit of a risk because people want to know what's happening from the start, but I wanted to tease it out and make sure that people actually weren't able to understand what was going on until the very end, so.
You teased it out so well.
Thank you.
It was like, I mean, being in the audience for your film last night, everybody was like losing their minds, like in the most impactful way. Because I think the way you put it as well, like we fell in love with your characters so much. We kind of felt this beautiful sisterhood that was created between, and we knew the stakes were high.
Yeah.
And you gave so much in your performances.
Thank you.
That we were like, you know, just in it, like losing our minds, kids. I mean, seriously. You did a really fantastic job acting alongside your wonderful co-star.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit how you both decided to come together and create this project.
Yeah, I had written this script in around 2016. I actually read an article about a woman who had a party similar to the party that happens in the film. Essentially like an assisted suicide party. And I get a lot of inspiration from reading like news articles. Like a lot of that is where I get my jumping off point to write things. And I was very moved by it, and I thought that this would make a fantastic, film. I wanted to pay homage to that woman. Her name was Betsy. And actually, I didn't audition anyone for the other role. I knew that actress. Her name is Cher Alvarez. She's incredible, and she was exactly the perfect person. She's the most beautiful, like brightest spirit. Like it's so cliche, but you meet her and she is exactly the way she is in the film. She's so kind and she's so beautiful, and the last thing you would ever want is something bad to happen to her. So I thought she was a perfect choice for it. And a lot of the stuff in that film she ended up kind of like improvising, and I was like, just let her cook, like just let it go, and she was just so great. Yeah.
I mean, you both did a tremendous job. Did you kind of know the sister that you wanted to play for yourself?
Yeah. I have a brother. I have an older brother. I don't have any sisters. I always wanted one. But I feel I tend to feel very protective of like my younger female friends as though I am an older sister.
Yeah.
And I am the more like logical, more grounded. Like I'm a Taurus. We're very earthy, grounded.
We need you, yes.
Yeah. And so I feel like in that particular argument, and usually in any argument, I am the person that's like, let's look at all sides of an issue. Like I'm not a like go with your heart person. I'm like no. Let's try to make sure this is the absolute right decision. Yeah. And if there are any flaws in the plan, then we should not do the plan. you know. So I always knew that would be my side of it.
Well, your character felt like such a supportive sister. I was like, oh, I wish I had that too. Like it was beautiful. Like you did a really good job. But
I wish I had that too.
What was mesmerizing to me is so instantaneously I just felt you both were sisters. Like, I mean, it really, like you felt the energy, and you also had to really give us such a psychological clever backstory of like understanding maybe what has happened or experienced, because we spend the whole time obviously trying to figure out what is happening here, right? You did such a good job with that.
Thanks.
In terms of being a director and directing this, like, how was that experience being on on both sides, working with that. And then, as you know, I'm sure, the stakes were really high.
Yes.
Probably one of the highest you could get in any film. Like, they were high.
Yeah, life or death.
How was that experience as a director?
It was extremely difficult. And
Mm-hmm.
I will say that I feel like I am glad that I had this experience. I'm glad that I have a project that is like purely me. Like I wrote it, directed it, and I'm in it. So it's like it's comes from the heart. I wouldn't do that again. I wouldn't do all three again because on the day when I was acting in those very emotional, very high stakes scenes with my incredible scene partner, I actually kind of felt like I was I felt like I was letting her down because she's so able to get to an emotional place so easily. She's one of those actors. I am not one of those actors. It's hard for me.
Yeah.
But on top of that, I was like in the back of my mind, like, how's the shot? How's the focus? Oh my God, a car just drove past. We're messing up the set, that kind of thing.
Yeah, of
We're
course.
losing light. We gotta go. Like all that stuff. So I was very lucky to have a really amazing first AD who was like so on top of things and really put me at ease with that stuff. But even so, I wasn't able to fully just like be an actor because you're just always like, what's happening with the shot?
Well, in terms of performance, it was great. So don't even like you gave us everything wonderfully. Like I'm still, in a weird way, like I feel like your film is like it's kind of, I haven't let it go yet, you know. And I think a lot of that is because there were so many elements to your film that was, oh my goodness, I can only imagine everyone in their audience who is either can relate to a situation, can understand, empathize maybe these circumstances. Like there's no way you didn't affect not every single person in that room. Like what did you kind of want, taking this from an article, what did you kind of want your audience to take from your film?
Well, I had a couple people come up to me yesterday and say, like, I lost my dad to a terminal illness, or my sister is really sick. Like, a couple people were mentioning that to me, and I felt very, like, touched that they came up to a total stranger to say, like, thank you so much for making this. Like, I'm going through this situation, or I wish I had this option. I think in the United States, and as Americans, I think we really, really, really get uncomfortable thinking about death. Like, and I know this because, and so my mom is Mexican, my dad is American, and I feel like I could really tell the differing opinions on it with those two people in my life. But yeah, I think about it a lot, and I think in terms of like deep empathy, and I think what I wanted people to take away from this film is just having an empathy for anyone who's ever gone through this type of situation, and also knowing that you also will go through this situation. Like you also are gonna die.
Absolutely.
So, sorry, I hate to break it to you guys.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
You know, but I think the more we can talk about it, and the more, I mean, in a way, it's like actually the film shows probably the most beautiful way that you could die.
Oh,
you know?
My goodness.
But it's still really scary. It scares
so,
me. It's scary to think about. And so I think I wanted, also for myself, as well as anyone who watched it, to really think about, like, what would you do in that situation? I think the main conversation piece is, like, if you had, because I think, I might have told this to you yesterday, I think in practice, I think in theory, it's like, oh, well, yeah, if you're really sick and you're in pain, yeah, you should absolutely choose when you get to die. Absolutely. Yeah. I think if it were someone very close to you that came to you and said, hey, I'm going to do this thing, I would have a problem with it.
Yeah,
like,
no,
I know that about myself.
Yeah, absolutely, because we don't want to lose these people, right, that
and
we
there's
love.
This control thing, level of control that's like, no.
Yeah.
Let's think this through.
100%, 100%. And it was so crazy. It felt so realistic. Sometimes I was like, am I watching a documentary? Like it really, like it was hard to watch for so many different reasons, but in the most important reasons as an audience member. Did you kind of, like, I felt the way that you shot the film, the way you directed the film, it was very intimate. I felt like we were one of the friends there.
Yes.
Was that kind of like...
Yeah, very intentional. My cinematographer, Haley Mignon-Kriovsky, she's amazing. Shout out to her, because she really was able to, like there's a final scene where the sisters are lying in bed. She was on the bed, like straddling us with the camera. Like she was like in our faces with it, like the steady cam, you know. So
you could
she's
feel
like,
it,
you could feel it, because I did want people to feel like they were a guest at the party because because the article that I read was written by a guest of that party, and so it was from her perspective.
Yeah,
and so
yeah,
I hope that people feel like they are in it with us.
Yeah, no, I mean, really, I mean, honestly, like, I think it was one of the most, being in the audience for your film, particularly at the, you know, at the Academy as well, it was one of the most mesmerizing experiences to be there present with the audience and just feel their reaction whilst watching your film. Like, it was amazing.
Yeah.
Obviously, we were so proud to have your film of part of the New Filmmakers LA family, so welcome.
Thank you.
But to have it in partnership with the Academy, to have that furthermore, you know, celebrating storytellers from the Latinx community, how was that whole experience for you last night?
It was incredible. I feel very, I kind of feel like I'm still like processing the past week, the panels, and then the celebration yesterday, and even being here today. It was really incredible, and it was such an amazing reminder of how many Latin creatives there are just here, and just the people that were there yesterday.
Right.
But like, I had so many and especially like young creatives. Like, I had a lot of like college students come up to me afterwards to ask me questions, and they were so interested and they were so excited, and that made me so proud, because I wish I had had that when I was in college.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, because even though it wasn't like that long ago, it was a little bit long ago.
Yeah.
And like, I feel like, because I'm primarily an actress, I didn't get to see the types of roles that I am now writing and directing when I was really young. Like, I didn't get to see Latinas be anything more than like maids and stuff. You know, it was like Eva Longoria and Desperate Housewives was like the ultimate, you know, and that was it. And so I feel like being able to, the fact that New Filmmakers LA curated such an incredible experience at the Academy, so like, it feels so special, and they were so welcoming and kind, and the fact that there were so many beautiful Black and brown faces in the audience,
beautiful,
was amazing. And they asked great questions in the talk back, and it just was such a, it felt, even though it was a large event, it felt very communal and very like one-to-one. Like, I had a lot of really good in-depth conversations. It didn't feel like super networky in the bad way.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah, absolutely. Because you know, it can be very intimidating in this industry at times, and so that environment is everything. It's what you want to create on set as well.
Yes,
you know.
Absolutely.
What is next? What is coming? What can we see?
What's coming up? Well, once our strikes are over.
Yes, please. We're ready for it.
I have 2 features that I'm working on. One of which was in pre-production before the strike, and the other of which I am kind of like, I was really actively pitching, and then the strike happened, and then I had to go away. So I have a feature based on a play that I wrote that's a psychological thriller. The play was a 2-hander, so it's a very small indie, 2 women, queer, BIPOC women in a relationship. The story actually has nothing to do with that. The story is, that's just like who those characters are, but the story is, it's like a horror story about grief again, and the loss of a child, but scary and not sad.
Yeah, I'm ready for whichever world you take us into next.
I'm excited. I hope it happens soon.
No, that's amazing. Well, I mean, you know, your film will sit with many of us for a long time, and I think as well as being amazing, you know, entertainment, I think that so many can take so much from your film as well. And I think it's important as many people see it as possible. So just thank you so much for bringing your artistic talents to us, and welcome to New Filmmakers LA.
Anytime.
And we're looking forward to seeing your next 2 features, so thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.